Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Chatting with Chat. Tonight we have a very, very special guest, my big cousin, big homie, big everything. Karen is gracing us with her presence this evening, um, and we're just gonna get it popping tonight. The topic is about interracial dating. So I
Oh.
think it's gonna get a little bit live and hot.
Gonna get spicy.
It's gonna get a little bit live, hot, and spicy. So how's your weekend been going, Karen?
Weekend is great. I'm feeling good. I'm loving the weather, the overcast. So I'm feeling good. Yep. Great weekend. And yourself?
I'm doing well, doing well, doing well. Um, just ready to go live and get the broadcast together. Let's get it cracking and do what we do.
Got it. Got it.
So our topic tonight is about interracial dating, and is it a phenomenon? And is it a hinder or hurt to the Black community?
Mhm.
Is the I heard that. I heard
Okay.
that. Is it helpful? Is it who cares?
Right. Right.
You have people that say now, we love who we love, but we're gonna listen to some interviews tonight
Okay.
and to get it engaging, to see how we feel about this topic, and see how we move forward. So
Let's do
Karen,
it.
let's get it cracking.
Do it.
So I guess the first question that I have
Mhm.
um, about interracial dating is, what is your take on interracial dating?
Mhm. Um. hmm, Okay. And here it is. Right. Um. Am I a fan? No. I mean, it used to really bother me. Um, but it doesn't anymore. But am I a fan? No. Am I bothered? Type of a feeling now. Um, but I did hear some things recently that brought, interracial dating to the focus, to the forefront. And I just felt like what the guy was saying was very true. He was saying that we need to instill in our people that self-love and love of the community and dating and marrying within our race. And he had some really valid points, though I wasn't in total agreement. He did, yeah, I understood
Okay.
exactly where he was coming from. So
Well, I know exactly who you're talking about, and so let me pull up that article, and also I'll go ahead and say fair use. This is a clip from the Breakfast Club, and I'm going to say fair use because we will be using it as a teachable moment, criticism, and for sharing and for educational purposes. So let's go ahead and see what Dr. Umar Johnson had to say about interracial relationships.
all right.
Umar, are you totally against interracial relationships? I am totally against it, and I want to make sure you understand why. It's not because.
Are you able to hear it, Karen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, all right. I wanted to make sure the audience can hear it. So let me go back and start that again.
Let me ask you a question, Dr. Umar. Are you totally against interracial relationships? I am totally against it, and I want to make sure you understand why. It's not because. Cut it out, Envy. Cut it out, Envy. Don't do that, Envy. I'm having a serious conversation. We have a name for it. We have a name for it. Okay. The Snow Bunny Crisis. Okay. I'm against the Snow Bunny Crisis. And I want your white listeners to understand. Because people be trying to say stuff like, he's the Black Hitler. I'm not the Black Hitler. I am in no way interested in hurting or harming the life of any human, white, Asian, Chinese. I believe in respecting everybody. The reason I'm against interracial marriage, Envy and Charlemagne, is because marriage is an economic contract. It's an economic contract. Most women do not marry down in status. They marry up. And if you don't believe me, show me a rich white woman married to a broke ass black man. Have you ever seen a rich white woman marry a broke ass black man? No, you have not, and you never will.
All right, well, let's stop it right there real quick.
All right.
Well, let's stop it right there real quick. How do you feel about what he's saying so far? You know, in marriage, dating, is it an economic contract?
I
Um,
don't agree with his stance on marriage, apparently, and dating, as far as it being transactional, and I'm more on the emotional side of things as far as that goes. But it's still leading me, even with not agreeing with how he gets there. I still really agree with a lot of what he's saying as far as marriage, and keeping the races, marrying within your race.
okay.
Even
Okay.
even you notice how even saying it gives you a little bit of a, just to. So yeah, I'm just saying it.
You know, we're gonna get to that because we're gonna play out the whole interview. I mean, it's only a couple more minutes in it, or maybe about 4 or 5 more minutes in it. But I think it's very good to hear what he's saying. Not to say that Dr. Umar Johnson doesn't have his own issues, doesn't
Right.
have his own flaws. Lately, he's been really out there bugging with a lot of videos that I've seen about him. But at the end of the day, you can't take away this guy's education and what he has brought to education as it pertains to our children with IEPs, education in that matter. So I totally agree with him. But now I'm going to go back to and share my thought on what he's saying. I disagree with your stance on that, because I totally agree that marriage is definitely an economical contract. And I say that because no one is looking for the broke, busted mom. No one's looking for that. No one's looking for that. And and I agree with him when he says women like to date up. We do. When I'm putting it out there the way that I feel.
Yes.
We do. We want to, when we date and we say, okay, we want somebody to come in, we're not looking for the person who can't provide. We're not looking for the person who can't, uplift. I think sometimes nowadays, women want more than what guys can give them. But I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to a provider, most women want a provider. Right. At the end of the day. And so, relationships have changed. You have women who are, making, making more in the household. So yeah, things have changed. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to go with the fact that no one is looking for the person who can't provide for them.
And I'm there with you. Nothing that you're saying to me doesn't make sense. It makes sense, and it is in that perspective. I don't like to look at marriage in that way. I don't know why I'm uncomfortable with looking at marrying within your race because of I'm not sure if I'm with that part of it. Okay. But I do understand about it being a contract, a relationship. It's so I'm just not quite there with. Like I said, I'm in agreement with a lot of what he's saying.
Right.
Not sure how he got there. Okay. But I do, more than not agree with, hey, I do like to see Black couples.
Okay, let's listen to a little bit more of what he has to say, and then we'll dissect it a little bit more.
Okay.
All right, here he goes.
Because marriage ain't about love, it's not colorblind, and it is totally economic. So if marriage is an economic unification and a contract, how can we, who don't have enough already, give so much to the white woman and to white people who have already taken too much when we got all these black women out here who will never get married? Only 1 out of every 4 black women in America will ever taste marriage. And half of them who taste marriage will be divorced within 5 years. If you want to save the black family, if you want to save the black family, you have to protect it. And in order to protect it, you have to be against interracial marriage. You can't say, I love the black family, but I don't have a problem with interracial marriage. Interracial marriage is eliminating the black family because it is not providing our women with enough available and able black men to be their husbands.
So you're not just white. It's not just white women. You just feel white women, Asian,
everybody. Nobody married out the race because there's political consequences. DJ Envy, I'll give you one right now. Naomi Osaka. Am I saying her name right? The tennis sister.
Mm-hmm. Naomi Osaka. Yes.
Naomi. I love the sister. Right? She knocked off the greatest of all time, the GOAT, in Serena. But guess what? Who is she representing in the upcoming Olympics? Is she representing Haiti? No, she representing Japan. So here you have a half African sister, an African sister because there's no such thing as half African. Our genes are dominant. So you got an African sister with a Japanese mother, and instead of going back home to your father's blood, Haiti, to represent the Africans in Haiti, you're instead going to represent the Japanese who've never done anything for black folks and are part of the Trilateral Commission with the American white power structure. But who taught her to play tennis? Did her Japanese mother teach her to play tennis? Or did her black Haitian father teach her to play tennis? Her black Haitian father taught her to play tennis. It's the African DNA. It's the African ancestors in that girl that's responsible for her tennis success. But instead of representing us, she's going to go represent the Japanese. Well, this is what you got to deal with when you make mixed race African children.
Ooh. Woo. Woo. Mm-hmm. But where's the lie?
I'm sorry. Well, you know what?
Where's the lie? He's not lying. You know, and he I like the political stance that he took with Naomi Osaka. Mm-hmm. Okay, you do these champion things for black people. Not to say that she's not an advocate. I've seen some things that she's done by giving back to black communities. Okay, but at the end of the day, when you have the opportunity to represent the black culture, that's not what you do. You go in and represent your mother's country. And this is where, he's gone on from interracial dating to actually the production of children, which we will, get there. Right. But with interracial, and it's one of the things that you have to deal with interracial marriages when the kids come. But back to my, standpoint with interracial marriage and pertaining to, the marriage itself, I'm really tired of hearing the statement, you can't help who you love.
Oh, I'm done.
You can't help who you love. Love is colorblind. Well, we know that that's a lie. And one thing about me is this: when I hear people say to me, and I mean, I'm talking in just everyday fashion. If I'm in the office, if I'm at the grocery store, because I'm a big people person. I like to talk to people. But when somebody says to me, I'm not, I'm not colorblind. I'm colorblind.
Right.
I immediately exit myself from the conversation because you are an absolute liar. At the end of the day, we are trained. Your eyes are trained to see color first. I don't care what anybody says. There is studies. I even learned this in my field of practice. A lot of people hate to talk about this, but at the end of the day, when you see someone, the first thing you see is their color. You don't see if they're a woman or female. You don't. I mean, what, male or female. You don't see anything else but the fact if they are black or white.
Right.
Or whatever they are. And then we go into gender. So this whole notion of, oh, love is colorblind, and you can't help who you love. I believe that's false, because at the end of the day, for you to marry and get involved with someone, it is a decision. It's not a, oh, you can't help who you love.
Right.
Oh, yes, you can. You
Well,
have made an emotional decision that this is the person that I want to be with every day.
okay. 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 So let's just, okay. I hear you. I, I believe the more intent purpose of the statement would be love, cascades through everything. So I think saying love is colorblind is is us trying to be nice. I don't see color, you know, uh those old kind of words and things that we say, but I think the meaning is to mean more like once you're in love, I get what you're saying. It's a decision, but I almost imagine them not meaning it the way they're saying it. Love is colorblind. I don't think that they really mean that. I think they're saying that to be nice and not have the expressive way to express how they feel about love. Love is something to them that doesn't involve race, maybe, or something like that. I guess I don't, yeah, I think if you tell me I'm colorblind, I don't see color. Well, I'm black. So right away, I almost feel maybe dismissed, right? Like, color is important. It separates us and it brings us together. That's why there's so many different colors, right? Eye color, hair color, colors of the world, colors of the sea, right? So you have to just acknowledge it. That's almost like a shying away of, I don't see color. It's almost like the easy way out of an explanation of what you really mean. You understand what I'm saying?
So it's like a deflection.
A deflection. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I believe we all see color, like you said, in the scientific fact of when there's studies and stuff that we see color right away, right? And then we move on to other recognitions. So there's that. And then there's also just the love of ourselves. You can't appreciate your dark skin and your dark eyes and my light shade of this, or you can't appreciate those things if you're walking around saying I don't see color.
Right.
So I almost feel like you're trying to say something else, maybe kind of dig deeper and just say something else. We all see color. None of us are colorblind. So maybe saying race doesn't fall into love in my category or something like that. I don't know what I want, but I just feel like it's kind of like a scapegoat, easy way out of saying what you really want to say. I don't see color.
Right. I agree with that too. It's you do. And that just concerns me when someone says, "Oh, I don't see color."
Right. Because it's okay. It's like, listen, what is wrong with seeing, have you ever saw those videos where little kids, even some adults that are literally colorblind, get those glasses and they see color for the first time?
Yes.
And they literally are overwhelmed with emotion, and the people around them are overwhelmed with emotion because it's the absence of seeing color that has been their challenge, and so I guess it's almost, I don't see color is almost just disrespectful, almost. So, and I know it's not meant to be, so I don't want to get off on that, but I feel like they should find maybe a new way to say, I don't do racial, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
All right. Well, let's finish listening to a little bit of Yes, the great doctor.
Hold on, baby. I think her case is a little different though, because she identifies fully as a black woman. She definitely does. So if you identify fully as a black woman, Charlamagne, why is she not representing Haiti? I get it, but that's a little asterisk. Because if because she's putting her money in the black cause, and she puts her money in the black organizations. She got a black boyfriend. Like she stands up for black causes. See what Haiti going through? Oh, 100%. 100%. You know what? I don't even know if Haiti got a tennis team, so I don't know, to be honest with you. They don't have to have one. She will win the whole thing. But here's the point. If you look at the political situation that America and France has Haiti in, that they've been in since the Haitian Revolution of 1791, if you look at the fact that the children are being raped, robbed, stolen by whites, if you look at the fact that America and France have sabotaged the Haitian economy and the Haitian society, if Naomi was to represent Haiti one time, she can go back and represent Japan next time. But if she was to represent Haiti just one time, it would shine a light on all the injustices that the U.S. government and the French government are inflicting upon our brothers and sisters in Haiti. And it will demand from the international community some answers and some changes. She has a chance to almost rescue an entire nation of people, and she won't do it because she won't go into the Japanese blood. Then why she not doing it, brother? I'm not saying she hasn't. To be honest with you, I'm sure she hasn't. What? She's not representing Haiti. She has not represented Haiti, but she speaks out against so many black issues. She probably has spoken on Haiti. I don't know, Charlamagne. But I do see her speak out a lot in regard to the black issues. Okay,
and then let me look at another clip. And I think this is more of the clip that you were talking about, with Dr. Umar.
Right? If my son, my black son, yes, brings home a white girl, because how old is he? Not for nothing, he's 13. Yes. Not for nothing. We live in an area that is predominantly white. Okay. Reason why? Better school system, better education. I got you. A lot safer. So if he brings home a white girl, I should be like, son, we need to have a conversation. You shouldn't date her. You should date a black person. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't agree with that. And let me tell you why. But let me like mayonnaise now. But when you go to that HBCU and see that soul food, but experience. But envy. Be the person that said you can do this. No, you have to be the person, because you have to teach your son loyalty to his community. European Jews do it. Arabs do it, Chinese do it, we're the only people who feel anxious and ambivalent about telling our black boys that you better love and marry a black woman. And you know why we feel ambivalent? Because all of us have been conditioned by church envy to be colorblind. We're constantly told over and over again that it is wrong to be for yourself before you are for anyone else. And that's why Africans are dead last. I don't agree. There's nothing wrong with being loyal to yourself. There's nothing wrong with being loyal to yourself, but it's also who you love. I can't tell my son who he connects with better. Can that white woman ever understand your son's struggle? Fuck no. Thank you. So why would you want him to spend the rest of his life with a woman who can never understand how he feels when the New York City Police Department pulls him over? You need a woman who can feel you. And the only woman on earth who can understand the black man is the black woman. And that's why I cannot respect a black man who is not committed to a black woman. That's the greatest symbol of pride in self.
I agree with you, but I do think.
Wow. Wow. That's deep.
Well, let's just jump right in. How do you feel about those statements? That goes right into interracial dating. Right into the beginning of it. His kids, 13, getting into girls, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's time to start educating him in whatever you're going to do. Well, where do you stand on that?
Well, first, I think we need to go back and really look at, where a lot of this stuff comes from. And a lot of it really stems from the fact of is, as we grew up on the west side of Las Vegas, right?
Right.
So, that community was predominantly black. As we all know now, that community is predominantly what?
Hispanic.
Thank you. So, we have to look at the fact that black people have completely migrated out of into other areas. They're really, honestly, I know a lot of people are going to fight me on this part, but at the end of the day, there really is not a black community here anymore. I just feel that, we're all spread out, we're all over the place. And then when something happens, we want to come together on the west side. No, you come to your community, and and your community is now migrated with everyone. So but that's another topic for something else. But but we have taken our children out of predominantly Black society, and then kind of have this expectation that they date a Black girl or boy. And that's going to be hard when you have moved your child in an all white neighborhood. So when he goes outside to play, if he does, or he or she goes outside to play, who are they playing with?
Right. I hear you.
I mean, not to say that we can't, there's other avenues, because again, I have a son who I did, who's doing very well now, he, went to a HBCU, and, of course his house is Black. We're all Black.
Right.
His mother and his dad is, his entire family just about is, Black. And so he grew up in those, around the culture, so, and I do agree with Dr. Umar that, once you start digging out, how is this person that you're going to date going to understand when you get your first car at 16 and the police pulls you over? Now, the police isn't pulling you over because, you got your tail light is out, or you might be speeding. He's suspicious because, your parents are a little affluent. You can drive a Mercedes or BMW, that your parents bought you, and they don't feel that you should be able to drive that vehicle because you're Black. So, how is that person, other than a Black woman, going to be able to resonate with those emotions? I don't believe they can.
Okay.
So I agree with him on that statement.
Well, I agree with them, but I do challenge him. And I agree with you also, as far as community going outside. I understand your point when you're saying the Black community, where is it? Right? Where is the Black community? Right? But what I will say is, you grew up on the West Side. I grew up on the West Side, right? And we have our siblings. My brother grew up on the West Side, just like me. But I feel like his experience of being able to experience a different culture of people. You understand? I don't want to head it off wrong.
Right.
I feel like him being exposed to different people opened his eyes to different, I don't want to even call it opportunities, but just different women. I would say, not like you said, not going outside and playing with, he did that. We grew up on the West Side, but it was getting to college, going to school in New York, meeting a different people from all walks of life, opened him up to different things. And so I feel like that can also play a factor in how you choose your mate, as far as if race is a factor. We grew up on the West Side. He played with, like, all friends are Black, but something about being exposed to outside of the West Side, outside of even Nevada, where life is different, made it easier, I guess, for him, or okay in his eyes, or whatever the situation is. But he's a interracial dater, so
right. Right. And I well, I guess I can ask this question then. What do you feel about when it comes to interracial dating and the extinction of the Black family?
Ooh, listen, there's no doubt in it. It is what it is. It lessens it. I'm not not trying, I don't know, I'm not trying to be negative, but it does decrease, you don't have as many Black people, right? So I get that, but I also understand there's just how things are going. I've had this idea in my head since about 2015, 2016 about the challenges
Yes, you have.
full-raced people are going to face.
Yeah.
When you look around and everyone is mixed with something.
Yes.
Black people, white people, whatever it is, you become, I don't know how to explain it, but so that's how I feel. I feel like there's no doubt it definitely but that's where we're headed. So what do you do? What do you do about it? And you notice the similarity in the shaky fear that the white man has of his race.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Coming to be the minority. For different reasons, power or whatever their situation is, but it is a similar song, right? Of how do you keep our race strong? How do we keep, how do we just keep strong? How do we stay around, right? As a people.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I was, what's funny is is that with this there was a lot of controversy around this NBA draft. This last NBA draft, and I think the draft was here, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The draft was here in Vegas. So there was a lot of confrontation, a lot of conversation about the NBA draft and who was on the stage at the draft. What I was advised is from a couple of content creators is that when it came time for the interracial, the mixed children to come on stage, it was, we're going to broadcast this. We're going to make sure that, the screen is on the Black dude and the white woman. But when it came time to focus on the Black child that was represented by his mom and grandmother, there was no representation. They did not choose to show that. Yeah. Yeah. So there was a lot of, content about that. And why is it that, this type of relationship being branded?
Well, not just that, it's being, almost under the smoke and mirrors of inclusion, right?
Right.
It's almost like we got to include, everybody's equal, everybody's the same, right? So it kind of falls under that safety net. If you even question it, almost, right? You're perceived as being racist or whatever, but why not show him, his grandmother? He's a success story.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, so if this was a conscious effort, I mean, I don't want to get caught up in conspiracy theories, whatever. If it was a conscious effort to not show a Black grandmother, mother, and child, because of whatever reason, I can't even think of a reason why you wouldn't want to show such glory,
Right.
And to make sure you show, and like I said, under the smoke and mirrors of inclusiveness, you show this interracial couple. I'll have to think about that. Intentionally, I don't know. I'm not sure. What that means. What you're doing there.
Right.
I don't know what that's about. So
right. Well, you know what? I think we should move into, the topic of why do. Well, before we move into that topic, let me reel it back. Is there a higher percentage of Black men dating out of the race, or is it white Black women? And we already know the answer to
I
that.
was gonna say, really, girl, you get I'm about to get real up in here. Really, really. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I want to share what Willie D had to say about the truth about why black athletes marry white women.
Okay, now first, before we even step, you're gonna have to clarify this Willie D. I know a
Well,
few.
you know, Willie D is from the Ghetto Boys.
Okay, all right. A Willie D, y'all. It's been a minute, y'all. Okay, got it. I got it.
I should have said, Willie D is now on YouTube creating content, and so he has, put together a video, talking about the truth behind why black athletes marry white women. And I actually have a story to share about that I had actually spoke with an athlete, made a lot of money. I'm not gonna, say his name right now, but he did give me a different perspective as to why black men date or marry white women once they've gotten that cheddar. So let's take a quick little intermission and then we will be right back.
Sounds good.
All right. All right, we are back. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Um, Karen, are you there?
I am here.
All right, so we're going to take this conversation to the next level. And that next level is going to be, why do most successful Black men date outside of their race?
Now I'm
And
very, very curious to hear.
yes,
Um,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. So
Mhm.
let me take it over to Willie D's point and see what he has to say. And again, we'll say fair use. Again, we're gonna break down the content and make it an educational and research experience. So all right, here we go.
Here we go.
Man, y'all. So, um, Redskins linebacker Lyndon Antonio Trail asked his followers. Well, first of all, before I say this, let me just pay homage real quick. This story was brought to my attention by Kimberly White. She posted this on her timeline and tagged me. And I thought it was very, very interesting because this is a subject that people talk about all the time. It's always back and forth, bunch of finger pointing all the time about this subject. Interracial dating, to date or not. So this guy, this Washington Redskin football player, he asked his followers what they thought about it. And one of his followers by the name of Maserati Rick, and I'm putting his name out there so y'all can go in on his ass.
Oh,
Call himself Maserati Rick. Miami Dolphin Maserati Rick. Username Maserati Rick. I don't know if he played for the Dolphins or what. I don't know. But it says Miami Dolphin username Maserati Rick. And this is how he responded. The answer is simple, brother. Most of the sisters were raised in broken homes and they don't have proper guidance to how they should treat a man. So they mess up a lot in relationships. The biggest difference is a white woman knows her position and accepts her role as a woman and let her man lead. And also, y'all, he got a lot of run-on sentences and shit in here. So
girl.
and stuff like that. That's me trying to decode this raggedy ass penmanship. Okay, so he said black women believes it's 50-50 and you have to be uneducated to ever think such a thing. Black women are stubborn, closed-minded, and always want to argue and be the boss. Men don't like that shit, especially if you're successful. Young black athletes are looking for a woman to submit, do their part, and leave it as is. The biggest problem with some women is that they can never take responsibilities for their actions. They hate to admit when they are wrong. And you can never get better at anything unless you can admit your feats and mistakes. How would I be a better football player if I'm not coachable? Black women are not coachable. Let's put it that way. Man, I'm tired of their asses. You got to go through shit to medications. Actually, he said you got to go through shit to know medications. The best thing I could have done was get me a white girl with a great family to support her and our relationship. So let's go back to the words that he said. He said that you can never get better at anything unless you can admit your feats and mistakes. Go ahead on and admit right now, dude, you fucked up. You know you fucked up, right? Date who the hell you want to date. Because look here, I ain't got to be with that person. I ain't got to sleep with that person. I ain't got to talk to them. I'm not going to pay their car note. I ain't paying their mortgage. I'm not going to talk to them when they feeling down. I don't need them to talk to me when I'm feeling down. So, dude, it's your life. Live your life how you want to live your life. The issue that I have is when people get these old asinine ass excuses or reasons why they don't date within their own race. And I hear this a lot of times when dudes say, well, I don't date black women because black women, they don't listen. And he talking about coachable. They're not coachable. This motherfucker like he a coach, like he coaching some damn football team or something. They're not coachable. Like, motherfucker, it's a relationship, not a damn football game. See, that's the problem. He playing games. And he sound like the type of dude that's domineering, controlling. He want to tell you what to do and push you around and handle you any kind of way. That's what the dude sound like. So all these black dudes run around saying, oh, the sisters don't do this and the sisters don't do that. They run into the white women. Like I say, date who you want to date. But if your logic for dating a white woman is that the sisters don't listen and they won't act right or whatever, that whole statement is fucking void, because you stand a worse chance of being in a long-term relationship with a white woman than you do with any other woman. So that shit y'all be talking ain't about nothing. You sound stupid.
All right.
Ooh, it's a lot to unpack.
Ooh, yes.
While I was hollering at a few times.
Did you have to put yourself on
Yes,
mute?
I did.
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is Maserati Rick.
Didn't he say it over and over and over and over again?
Maserati Rick.
Maserati Rick.
Well, let's just see what we can find on Maserati Rick. Oh, he comes right up. Oh, he comes right up.
Right up.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I can say this. Maserati Rick is saying that his page was hacked, and that was not him saying that at all.
really?
Maybe could have been, maybe not. We don't know. But at the end of the day, what he's saying is, what Willie D is saying is absolutely true, and it's not just this guy here. It's other men out there. That's I've matter of fact, I've heard this on several occasions, and the first thing what I hear is when I ask a brother, why do they date outside of their race, and the first thing I hear is black women are difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah. Well, that's the number one. And then they get, okay. Well, yeah. Yes, I've heard it. Okay. I'm hard pressed, right? Like I agree with Willie. Just date who you want to date. If your logic, though, your logic is just bash. The best thing he said he's ever done was get him a white girl with a good family that supports their relationship.
Isn't that something?
I mean, damn. I mean, he did. Okay, let's just start there. Is his mother alive?
Right.
Is his mother alive? You came from a bashing, bitter, uneducated, he laid it out there, didn't he? So where did you even come from? So right. He put it out there. Listen, it's a lot to take in. Like I said, it's a lot to unpack because you usually don't hear it so abrasive.
Right.
I guess it was those run-on sentences, or I don't know what was going on. Listen, but it is, he said a lot of disrespectful disrespectful things, you know. But you know, I mean, wow. I'm gonna take a step back and you know, he just really slapped me in my face, right?
Right. You're
You
not
know,
coachable.
you don't even know me.
You're not,
You
you're
know,
not coachable. You're
no.
not, you want to
And, you know,
argue,
you
you
come
want to
too,
fight,
you
you
too.
want
What
to,
was it? Too dumb? Was
when I say go make me a sandwich, you say go make your own sandwich. You know what I mean? Is that what the problem is? Like what
what?
is it?
Wait a minute.
I think there
Who
is
hurt you? That's what we need to be figuring out. Who hurt you?
right.
Who,
Hello.
who hurt you?
Come on.
Okay, somebody hurt you. You know, and that's a shame that you have come to the conclusion that all Black women, that's our problem. You know, no different than all a white person, all Black people steal. You know, like, geez, you know, he does. Is he going to have any children? You know, I guess he believes that they'll only be part half what Black man, right? And not I don't know. I'm really on Willie's side here with just the logic of it. Just young athletes, they want someone to submit, and they are tied. They don't want no lip, basically. What I mean, wow. So wow, it puts in. I'm glad I'm not a younger woman out there on the hunt for a young athlete. You know,
Right. Well, I don't think we were trained to do that. You know, you have some cultures that their parents train them to go after certain men. And we know that to be true. We've seen several of them. They single now, running behind a Black man that they thought that they wanted. You know, after bearing 4 and 5 kids, and now you realize you've decided that this is not what you want, and then you go back to the white boy that looks like the kid across the street who you need to go tuck him in. And let's stop.
Listen, his comments are infuriating. That's emotion coming out, right? It's emotion coming out. His comments are infuriating because none of them are valid. Okay, so instead of
they're valid to him.
Well, yeah.
They're valid to him. He,
okay.
you know, now can we say that there are I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit here, because okay, are there women who are not coachable? I agree. There are some women who are not coachable. There are some women who want to wear the pants. There are some women who says, you know what, I make the money, you do what I say do. You know, I mean, there are some women who have decided that this is, you know, my house, and if you come here, this is what I want. You know, I mean, that there are some women who are really rough out there like that. And that goes back to the topic of what we talked about last week. Are we raising women to be men?
Okay.
But we'll go back to, you know, I mean, he does have a point. Are Black women, you know, not coachable? Are they not, you know, submissive? And I think that first of all, let's get to that word, because I think that people take the word submissive so out of term. And I think that there are a lot of people too that don't understand what the word submissive is. So you do have a lot of females that when a man say, "Are you submissive?" Oh my God, they start thinking that the dude is talking about beating them with whips. You know, I mean, so there is a disconnect with what that word means, because there are some men out there that really truly don't even understand what the word submissive means. And they don't know, you know what that word means. So they, of course, are acting out something that they have no clue about. that they have not studied. I do believe in firmly being submissive, but I think it goes both ways as well. But that's just me in relationships. But what he's saying is just totally out of control. The fact of the matter is this: you can date who you want to date if that's your choice. At the end of the day, my problem is when you start bashing sisters. Like
Right.
you didn't come from a black woman and a
Right.
black man, and clearly you don't like your mama.
Who hurt you? That's all I know.
You did. I'm not gonna let you tell me that you don't have family issues or something along that lines as to why you've made the decision that you've made. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, because I can't see a black man standing up and saying, I just don't like no black woman. And I bet his mama is just sitting there saying, well, damn, I should have threw you back in there. I should have threw you back in there on the delivery table.
Well, he just seems angry. It seems like he's very passionate about it, and this is why, and like something happened to him. Something happened. I don't know if it was his mother, his sisters, aunts, maybe an old relationship, a baby mama, that he felt
that part
took him through the ringer. Whatever the situation is, something has turned him off, and it's a personal experience. I don't know why he's making it a all black women experience. He's bizarre. So I don't know. Like unlikable. He doesn't even sound likable. What a joy he must be for his white wife. I mean, can you imagine?
We've seen several videos of what goes down. I mean, I don't want to just throw it out there, but I mean, there's some ass whippings that's being taken. And and if that's what you want to do for the money, you go right ahead. Sister girl, go right ahead. But at the end of the day, this guy here, but it is so common. It's so common. And but this is the thing that gets me though. Let's take it up another notch, because what I find is when a black man marries a white woman, he goes and cheats with a black woman. What is all that about?
You listen. Okay, I'm gonna just take this and okay. Listen, I have a different perspective on that just because of the industry, right?
I know. And that's why I'm happy to have this conversation with you, because you know different things because of the industry. So let's hear it.
It's like I said, it's all about just a raw look and want type of a situation, right? So I will say this right now. Out of the black celebrities, the men that I have done any kind of business with, okay, that were married to black women, did not cheat with black women. So there is that. Is it more of a I got this all the time and I want something else, or is it a forbidden fruit type of a situation? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I will say that I know of several men, and then also just men, but just several men that are black that I know to have been married to black women. They did not have fun outside of that relationship, in my experience with them. When they can request what they want exactly down to the T, they didn't have, they went the opposite direction.
Wow. So you're saying a black man that married a white woman basically ended up cheating with a white woman?
No, I'm saying the black man that was married to the black woman.
Oh yes.
Cheated
Oh,
with, yeah. So
that changed the scenario a little bit from the first question that I asked, because the first question was, well, the first topic was why, or I will say question. Well, why is it that when black men marry white women, they cheat with black women? So, in your perspective, you're saying on the other side of, when a black man is married to a black woman, he then goes and cheats with a white woman.
Yes, and then and that's when I say the complete opposite. I'm talking about you're married to a black woman, you got this blonde hair, blue eyed, young woman with you, okay, that you've requested. Now, also black men married to black women, right? Say the black woman is darker skinned, right? So it may not be a white woman, but it might be a Latina or light skinned black girl,
Gotcha.
So I almost fall on the side of they just want something completely different
from what they have
what they have stuck themselves with.
Which stuck themselves with. Now, I you know what? I agree with that. What I mean, and basically we're getting top-notch research here because you know the industry. You've been there. And my conversation that I did have with a NBA player, and he advised me, because my question to him was, why is it that when, y'all get a little bit of dollars,
right?
I mean, it's like, you guys just completely fall off the loop, and you don't take sisters with you. To me, I would think that, you came from humble beginnings. So why would you not give the sister that also came from humble beginnings a choice to economically bring her and her family up? Because that's exactly what you're doing when you go and marry outside, to a woman who comes from a total different structure. You are. Does that person and their family actually need your money, or is it just extra for them to continue to live the lifestyle that they live? But however, I'm saying, with humble beginnings, with the dude that had to go to the YMCA, to the Big Brothers and
Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club. You got Shaq, who has I mean, you can have Lamar Odom, who said that those places helped him to get to where he is. So my question is, there was a sister along the way. There was a sister along the way. Let's look at Michael Jordan and Juanita. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. But I mean, there was a sister along the way. So why will you not, go back and say, you know what? Somebody gave me an opportunity to get this dough. You know what I'm saying? So let me go get my girl who I done been with in high school, or, and don't get me wrong. People change and they grow, and, and they move apart. But let me go back and get somebody, from somewhere, that doesn't have what I have, and bring her to my world, and let's get it together.
That's a lot of thought and mental processes.
But let me tell you,
going on.
Back to the conversation that I had with old boy, and I know I kind of took it to the next level, but okay. What he advised me was this: when he gets out of the game and he goes to a top-notch country club, or when he goes to hang out with the fellas at their home, there are no sisters there. There's no sisters in those arenas.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah. He said that to me. He said, it's not that, we're not looking for them, is that when we go to certain places, they're not there. He said there are a lot of, like, when we go to, around, even around the country, as we are touring and having games and doing all these things, he said a lot of times it ain't the sisters at the door that's waiting for us.
Right.
And
Wow.
so that really opened my eyes to, like, wow, so he's basically saying is, when he go to these upscale areas, the sisters are not in the room, basically.
So how
but I'm not gonna let him give me that excuse, because you done been to the barbecues.
Right. Or did you stop going?
Right. Hello.
Or did you stop going? You're making some money, you changing your people, places, and things. You've been busy, and unless you had a girlfriend that was kind of with you along the way and going through the motions, let's just say he didn't, and now here your free time, you're hitting the country club with the guys, and you want to get to know someone or mingle with the ladies, and they're all white. So what is the answer?
Right.
Let's talk about a solution. Here he is, he's poised the problem, he's poised the situation. How do we get our beautiful Black women in the room? Wait, even how do we get the door open?
Right.
Is somebody stopping us from, so who
I think people are stopping us. I think that we just don't have access.
So
we don't have the access.
Okay. So
and I think that that's what it is. We just don't have the access. We're not in that category of, this dude is making millions of dollars. Some of these chicks come from, $1 million families that are well off, and so they have access to the rooms.
Right.
They have access to it,
Well, then let's let it out there. But you hear us, fellas. The only way to get access to the room is you.
Right.
You're gonna have to start opening the door, asking some questions. Where are the sisters at?
Thank you.
What it is that a question that's being asked?
Right.
Where
right.
the sisters at? You're a young hot guy, and I understand you want options, right? But are you guys even asking? Or are you just going, oh well?
Right. They're not in the room.
Oh well, they ain't here.
Right. They're not here. So moving on.
Moving on. So maybe the problem is the moving on moment. Hey, stop, fall back a minute. We don't have access. Your sisters don't have access. And guess what? You're a basketball player, you're making some money and blah, blah, blah. Also, who doesn't have access is your sister or your daughter to be in a room of affluent gentlemen and have conversations and get to know worldly people. Right. And so if he's saying, well, we go out, we look around and there's no sisters there, well, then put an invite out. If you're single and you're headed to Chicago and you're going to be at the Chicago's, social scene, then put it out there. Hey, where my sisters at? They'll show up.
Right. And they will.
They'll show up. I have no doubt. They'll show up and they'll look like $1 million.
Come on now.
So I believe exactly what you're saying. Access, not having access to the room, So somebody's got to open the door, let them in. It ain't going to be the white girls.
Right.
That's in there.
And then, getting off a little topic with, interracial dating, do we want to be Savannah James, LeBron James' wife? And that's nothing against Black love, but she waited a long time for him to marry her after giving him all their children. And then we get married. We can even look at Cam Newton. How many kids does Cam Newton have now? And then all of a sudden he goes online and want to apologize to the mother of his children for being a prick. You know, I mean, like this be, you know what, this has come down to just ridiculous behaviors.
Right.
You know, this
Right.
behavior, this untaught behavior, this, you know,
Spoiled,
it could, yes, it's all
spoiled,
full. I want what I
entitled.
want. And a lot of times, you know, that sisters are not going to put up with that foolishness.
Right.
We're going to send you right out the door. Let me tell you, baby, your money is nice, but nobody's going to be mistreated.
Right.
Nobody's going to be mistreated just because you
and
got some millions.
and I want to, and like you're playing devil's advocate. Let's just is it the choice? The choice, like you said, you like the style of relationship. Is it just finding someone compatible? You just gave up. Somebody hurt your feelings or did you dirty or however it went down, and you just checked everybody off the box and moved on and and moved on. And you know, maybe you just need to find a woman who's compatible with you.
Right.
You know, how about just give it a shot? I mean, I don't know. There's no hope for him. He's already crossed us off as less than, okay, secondhand women, right?
Right.
So yeah, there's no hope for him.
Since you're talking about that, you know, is it the forbidden fruit rule? Can it be the forbidden fruit rule? You know, for many of years, you know, brothers were not allowed to date white women. And, you know, if you again, we'll go back to Emmett Till. You know, if you whistled, even though he did not, you know, if you whistled at a white woman,
the idea that you whistled.
Right. I mean, thank you. The idea. So I think that's what gets me is, yeah, we've come a long way, but you know, do we not even think about history when we make decisions? Oh, we're so far past that. You know, actually, we're really not.
Right.
But do we even think about history? You know, oh, I want to get with a white woman because they wouldn't allow me to back in 1955.
I don't think that's a real thing anymore. I think we're past that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a thing anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that's just those aren't real things anymore. We've been allowed to date who we want to. I got, you know, how old is Obama?
Is he almost 60? Almost 60?
Right. So with people with interracial, you know, you haven't been not allowed in a long time. You know,
right.
You might have been picked on, it might have been uncomfortable, but you know, it's been around long enough for you to not be like, I almost think though that what about okay, I'm gonna go there. What about the fact that I feel like the black men are being having women sicked on them when they're successful.
Wait, I'm sorry. State that one more time for me.
And I don't know if I'm saying it in the right way, but I'm saying having there being okay set up having women sicked on them, like how do I explain it? You know, he's saying the room is full. There's women there, but they're not white. I mean, they're not black, you know? Mm-hmm. So maybe they're there because hey, you know, he's single. He's got millions of dollars. And so is there something going on in that aspect? I've always thought that.
Oh, absolutely. I just stated that, you know, about 15 minutes ago, that, you know, there are women who are trained from birth to go after men that have lots of money.
Right. But I'm talking about the specific, there's been because there's a lot white men and have always made money.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. For sure.
So now we're just talking about we are really coming into our own, not just with athletes, but entertainers, politicians,
Surgeons.
Yes. So I'm
You
just
know.
wondering, is it now as if he's successful? Are black men now on the table? Like were they off the table and now they are on the table? Because let's not forget, I don't even like to use Hulk Hogan because I like the character Hulk Hogan. Okay. It's the man Terry that I have a problem with. Okay, so let's just put that out there. But what I'm gonna say is he said, if you're gonna be messing with a nigga, let it be $1 million nigga.
Oh my goodness. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Something to that effect. Pretty much, And so listen, we had conversations in our own families, right? About not messing with a bum. Right? Girl, messing with that. He ain't got nothing going for him. He ain't working and doing nothing, So, but isn't it just shocking to hear another race put them on the table as long as they have some money?
Wow. But isn't that how it always has gone with us?
No, I don't know.
I think so. I think so. Again, that goes back to I don't want to deal with the broke dude. And then if I have to migrate with you, I need you to have some money on the table. That's just like, let's say in the community that I live in. I live in a very well-versed community, right? So, there is the stereotype about black people. I don't want a black neighbor unless I know that she got some money, to keep up the standard of our home.
Well, you don't have a choice.
I mean, you don't not well, especially in Vegas now.
Almost
everybody has HOAs, but
you don't have a choice, and that's like I will have to say I agree to a certain point. To a certain point, I feel like black men. Okay, let me put it this way. I feel like in the conversation of trying to not train, but educate your daughters or, kind of teach them how to get a man or look for a man or whatever that situation is, the black men were off the table no matter what. And then we turned the corner to where, well, as long as they have some money.
Of course.
Go ahead. I feel like something happened up in that little space right there, where at one point in time, it was just find a wealthy man, get a doctor or a lawyer. But no matter what the black man was, he could have been a doctor or a lawyer. You better not bring that man here.
Right.
Now, it's okay as long as if you're going to mess with him, at least let him be worth millions of dollars.
Right.
At least let him be rich.
Well, they know we have the ability now to make a lot of money, as we've always made money. We're not even going to go back into the Black Wall Street, but whatever. And we're not going to even talk about who built this country, but whatever. But at the end of the day, that is the nature. It's money.
Yeah.
It's
but
money.
At one point,
for certain cultures, it is about the money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's that bottom line, that dollar.
And I feel like it's interesting that they're willing to risk their culture while we wonder how to keep our black people strong and making babies with each other. They don't mind sending their daughters off to make, mixed babies. So what is that about?
And this too, I think before we end the program, I think a good question or a topic should be, interracial dating is a rough topic. I know, especially for me, because growing up in the South, it was a no-no.
Right.
I think I've seen maybe one couple. And when I tell you one, and she was hidden very well. It was, an uncle that was married to a white woman, and she was hidden very well. You didn't really hear about her. But I do want to go back to, ending it on the note of, could it really be about economics?
Yeah.
About economics when we are making these decisions and with dating. Again, I'm going to leave it out there by saying, yeah, I agree, it is an economic decision. At the end of the day, um I don't want to be with a man who, when he dies, I got to go outside and sell chicken dinner plates. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You shouldn't have to sell chicken sandwiches for me.
Right.
I've made it to that point to where, no, that's not what you're gonna have to do when it's time for me to, bounce up out of here. So no, those decisions are an economic, a marriage is an economic decision. And so I think a lot of these brothers know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, but it is a total decision that they're making. I'm not gonna go with that. Oh, the heart just wants who it wants. I mean, yeah, okay. Um, no, you consciously make a decision to love and date and love who you want. You make that choice. You know what you're doing. So again, to leave it off, and we'll have another conversation at another time. But really, can a brother be pro-black and have a white woman in his bed at the same time?
They be trying. They be trying.
Yeah.
We may need to get a brother that has the courage, that's involved in an interracial relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe he might not have the courage. I know a brother. I'll ask him just maybe if he's willing to come on and let us poke him a little bit, all in getting to know, and getting an understanding
and getting the information of what we're looking for.
So I'll definitely reach out and see if he has the courage. If he doesn't have the courage to actually go, I don't want to say toe to toe, then I'll just ask him some things and bring that information back and see if it helps us change our minds or have some, more clarity on what goes into that decision making.
Right. I totally agree with the fact, and I want to end it on this note. Yeah, you can date who you want to date. You can love who you want to love. That's not the topic of the conversation. My thing is this: is, excuse me, when you start poking and attacking a black woman, then we have a problem. We have a huge, huge, huge problem because
listen, let's be truthful. He has a problem.
Oh yes,
we don't have a problem.
Yeah, well, he definitely has a problem. You're right. I don't have a problem. What
we have done as black women, we have lucked out on missing this brother and his money, because it comes with being submissive. If that's not what you want to do, it comes with all these. Like I said, what a joy his white wife must feel to know that she knows her place. That's why he has her. That's why.
Right.
That's why.
But what I've learned too.
She had a wealthy family to support their relationship. That's why.
Right.
That's why.
What I've learned too is that a lot of women would deal with specific behaviors to never be broke. Just to say, oh, I went and bought a Birkin. I went and bought a Birkin. I went in, you know what? I can go do this. I can go do that. There are a lot of women who will say, you know what? Oh, well, I know he cheats. I know he does these things, but you know what? I got what I got. He can go do what you want to do.
I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. You might be talking to a future one of those women right now. I'm still a young woman. I don't know what the years may hold and how I may change my mind. Right now, man, I feel too much pride in myself to you know, but once I get old, who knows how I'm gonna feel. I might just be grateful to not be broke.
Right. I guess you're just gonna say, well, fudge it, man, huh?
Yeah, as long as I'm not broke.
Look, fudge it. Like, I ain't broke.
I ain't broke.
Well, Karen, it is always a pleasure to
Thank you for
speak with
having
you. We
me.
kind of didn't have a, a schedule of how we was going to run down today, but you know what? It's always a pleasure to chat it up with you. And I can't wait to see you again and hear from you and what we're going to talk about next.
I
Um,
know.
and then, do you want to say something to the people on your way out?
Just send in what's on your mind. I really just want to hear from people. I want to know what you want to hear, what you want to talk about. Is something going on in your world that you need to express? Just reaching out, checking people out. I want, you know, that's it. I hope everybody's doing well, and I'll see you on the flip side of things.
All right, everybody. All right, Karen, have a good night.
You stay safe.
And we're out.